What's up, it's Ronnie. Thanks for coming. Hold on, let me move this back. Thanks for watching. If this is your first time to the channel, definitely please subscribe so that you can get notifications on updated videos on which I'll be sharing with you on the daily and weekly basis. So I got some sweet information for you. So, what's crazy is after I learned this recently, I actually noticed seeing a lot of these kind of posts. I don't know if that goes towards, how when you learn something or see something or purchase something, how you notice it more because now your focus has been on not having it, and now that you have it, so forth and so forth. But anyway, I've been noticing these kind of posts, so I think this is some information a lot of you will find valuable and will be able to learn from, so that in your Facebook marketing, you will be able to leverage the free algorithm to gain more awareness to your brand, your business, or whatever it is that you are currently doing online. Okay? So we're just going to name this the do's and don'ts of the 2020 Facebook algorithm. So, a lot of you, I got some notes here. So a lot of you may not be aware of this information. So I'm going to help you with new information so that you can get rid of the information that you've been aware of that is not helping you get the results that you are seeking. So Facebook looks at posts now as two things: loyalty and intent. And so before, you may have known that Facebook changed the algorithm to where they were actually showing more of your friends and your family's posts versus ads and things of that nature. And then so that took a catapult in a lot of people's business if they didn't know how to particularly leverage the free algorithm and its changes that came about. So a way for you to had actually leveraged the new algorithm at that point in time was to actually focus on engagement, which is, actually taking actions on Facebook so that Facebook reads you as being sociable and active in the community, because that's what it is, a social platform. So now what I've actually been seeing, and even been seeing prior to me learning this, is people having posts that either directs them to kind of share the actual Facebook post, or what Facebook looks at as clickbait content. So I don't know if you guys could see that, but clickbait content. And what that is content. Hold on, I got some notes right here. Got some good notes right here. Clickbait content is headlines or content exaggerating or withholding information. So an example of that would be, say, if you had a post and you said something like, woman loses 30 pounds with this one trick. You won't believe what it is. Now, Facebook reads that as what? Exaggeration and withholding information, because Facebook automatically reads it as that's what you said, but you didn't actually reveal either what the trick was. You didn't reveal what the trick was, so that was withholding information. So that's an automatic negative mark in Facebook eyes. So that post will not get as much reach as another post that may have just said, a post about a benefit of something that, the woman had from, whatever the product or whatever it was. So that is a tip right there for a lot of people. Don't over exaggerate. Exaggeration or withholding information. Exaggeration or withholding information will be the number one key component that you want to make sure that you are not doing. Do not over exaggerate. Do not withhold information. And then you could use that example as well that I used. Woman loses 30 pounds with this one trick. You won't believe what it is. That is something you do not want to post, because Facebook reads that as withholding information and exaggeration. Another thing that Facebook looks at as a negative mark, which that post will not get as much awareness, is don't repost content or videos. So that's a new one that I'm aware of. Don't repost content. And when I learned this, I actually went back and looked at, I did a little bit of diligence. I went back, looked at some of my posts, other people's posts, and even then I'll notice sometimes that there'll be people who post the same post that somebody else posts. So that is a negative mark that Facebook looks at as, because it's like too much of the same thing floating around. So that forces you to stand apart from everyone else and be creative. You got to be creative. So the second one is don't repost videos or content. I'll just put don't repost. Alright, so don't repost videos or content. And I'll even notice like how you have Facebook memories. Now, if you notice, whenever you post a Facebook memory, 9 times out of 10 you don't necessarily get as much awareness or engagement on that particular post, because it's already floated out into the algorithm. And so now you're just hurting your reach. For those of you who are doing like Facebook strategy, free Facebook marketing, using the algorithm of your social media platforms, this is definitely helpful to you, especially because a lot of people spend a lot of money on advertising. A lot of people spend a lot of money on awareness. And if you really just put in a little bit more effort and leverage the free social media platforms that you have already, and develop a skill, which is what the valuable aspect of this whole thing is. Develop a skill. You can actually create a lot of duplication within your team and within your community as well. Number 3 is, this is a good one, because I knew this similar aspect for YouTube, but for Facebook, this applies as well. The ratios are a little bit different though. So when you post videos, maybe you post them from YouTube, or maybe you record a live video, Facebook will not even recognize your video to be a part of the algorithm if it's not at least 1 minute long. Hold on, wait. 1 minute, yeah, 1 minute. It has to be at least 1 minute long. That's just a side note. I'm not going to write that, but... And the reason why it has to be 1 minute is because Facebook reads the watch time for your video. So it values it as intent or loyalty content. Sorry about that. It views that as loyalty content because people are watching it for more than a minute or about a minute. And this is for specifically videos in which are 3 minutes or longer. So if your video is 3 minutes or longer, you want to try and keep your audience engaged for about a minute for it to be considered in the algorithm, so that you could gain that awareness as well from the Facebook algorithm. So number 3 is 1 minute videos. One-minute video watch time. Alright? And so then, like, if you notice, all of these force you to be creative, to expand outside of, the common things that you see. Whether, you're starting to see a lot of the same posts because people are not, they're not adding value. They're not being creative. They're just kind of, want to do the bare minimum and expect a huge result out of not even putting in enough value in the work that they're doing already. So this is definitely valuable. And so what you can do, considering these changes, what that does is also, yes, causes you to be creative, but take a different approach. You have to think about who you want to resonate with. So who's your audience? Who is the ideal person that if they were like in front of you, who would that person be if you just had to put forth really no effort? And the ideal prospect, the ideal customer, the ideal client, what is that person like? What does that person resonate with? What is their interest? So that is what you have to learn when leveraging these free platforms, which is something that you need to know, is who you want to resonate with and who your message resonates with, because those are the people that need, or those are the people that would have more interest in whatever your service or your product is. You see what I'm saying? So, you could, what could you do? You could gear towards emotions. And that's what, Facebook wants is emotion. They want reaction. They want engagement. But this is what they don't want. So you could tell a story. It could be something, that maybe you went through that your ideal customer or prospect or client may be facing or may have faced or maybe even will face in the future, so that you always kind of keep their attention in some way, form, or fashion without, crossing the line with the platform that you're using. So keep your audience engaged, because you have to set yourself apart. You have to be creative. You have to know who it is that you actually are trying to reach and what message you want to get across. And then that is how you will start to really see a difference in the results that you get from these free strategies, and dealing with the different algorithms of these free platforms. So I definitely hope this was valuable. Remember, number 1, do not exaggerate, do not withhold information, within your post context. Do not repost content that either you saw someone else post, you've seen before, or maybe you've posted it already. Do not repost it. That will have a negative mark on your reach and awareness in the Facebook algorithm. And number 3, make sure if you're doing videos, they're at least 1 minute long, but at the same time, set yourself apart, try and be creative, because if they are up to 3 minutes long or longer, you need to keep your audience engaged within that first minute time frame in order to be recognized by Facebook as being valuable content and what did I say? Loyalty content and intent content. So definitely hope that was valuable for you guys. Write that down if you have to. Look at it so that you can start practicing these strategies and knowing this information to help produce better and more results in your business if you're just getting started online. And even if maybe you've been online for a while and you didn't know some of these, I didn't know about the video watch time. I learned exaggeration and withholding information was enlightening to me as well, because it gave me a better example on how I should word things, really, because like the example I gave you, I've seen people do stuff like this. Woman loses 30 pounds with this one trick. You won't believe what it is. And so Facebook sees, oh, he's withholding information. He didn't reveal what it was. That's clickbait, because they want them to, reach out to them or whatever. Facebook reads that. So now you need to be more creative. You need to have more emotional foundation and core behind your message so it reaches your audience. So definitely hope that was valuable. Thank you for watching. If you have not yet done so, please subscribe. Connect with me on Facebook. That link will be below this video as well. And until next time, much faith to your success.